terrible start.
Inane Blather is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, you're advised to not listen.
Oh, yeah. Use your discretion means, discreetly throw your phone in the trash when you discover that this podcast has been downloaded to your hard drive.
Yeah, you want to be discreet, because if anyone finds out that you're listening to this, you're in trouble. You're on some lists.
And there's probably some sort of joke in there, like a math joke for nerds about discrete in terms of numbers, right? But
I don't know.
I cannot make that joke.
Doug, I was a sociology major. I took 2 math classes in college.
Someone who listens to Futurama, that's all I know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Globetrotters...
Or watches Futurama.
It's a
I'm
better
not even smart enough to watch it.
I don't get all those visual gags.
Yeah. Like, the one guy's like a lobster or something? I don't know. I only listen to it.
Over my head.
That Bender dude is a real asshole.
Yeah.
That Bender guy, real asshole. So...
Dead air.
So, we're just jumping right back to it real quick. How's the weather?
Beautiful day.
Okay, cool.
It's it's a change of seasons, and you know what? I like all the seasons. I like that you can never really take anything for granted around here, because summer it's over before you know it, but it's so wonderful when it's here. And just, you know what? People who live in Southern California, you can suck it. You're not as in tune with the earth as I am.
I'm sure. I'm sure in
that's
like
not
the
on the
absolute
earth.
breadbasket of America, the most like beautiful climate on Earth, they're not in tune.
It's just boring
with the Earth. Well, you know what? It was 98 degrees here today, so just back to being hot. It's going to be like 102 tomorrow. Yes. And I was just singing 98 degrees all day long, and customers complained, and I'm like, hey, check the temp, bro. And they're like, oh, God, that's right. All right, God must have spent. And then we'd start singing it together, so you're not sorry.
Yeah, I'm intentionally trying to not say sorry about things that I'm not sorry for, though that one I should be, but I don't know. Maybe I am disgusting.
You little poopy bitch.
Yeah, can we maybe not have those burps in there, though? Let's cut all this out.
Nope, that is definitely going to be in there. So, well, let's see how if we can keep it as concise as we did a few days ago. Because that one
about 5 hours.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the last one for the 2 people that listened. We actually cut that down from 6.5 hours to that nice hot and quick razor thin hour and 42 minutes. Yeah. Did you listen to it?
I haven't. Is it up? I need to maybe I should subscribe to that.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Let's do it.
If you subscribe to the podcast.
Hey, everybody who's listening to this right now, let's do that.
Well, the only other person listening right now is me, and I am subscribed, so...
Kelsey might be listening to it right now at the gym. She said she might, and I was like,
She's not listening to it right now. We're recording it right now.
She's standing right next to me. Idiot. I want you to get him saying, suck me from the back. So then we can...
Oh, that's
I can kind of have a compilation of things that I could just play on repeat when I'm...
Okay, Natalie.
Alone.
Right.
Yeah. I'm subscribed. I just don't have notifications.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly the type of intellect we expect from our listeners. Mm-hmm. I'm just don't have bell thing clicked on notifications.
That's what I said. I think I was pretty clear about what I said.
I was just repeating it.
If you're not listening, then why am I here?
Because we are
Headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
That's why I have to be able to. I need to just work that into the introduction every time. I forget. So I really like that.
And say it with me, everyone. And I can't remember any of it except for jerks. Cross-dressing.
Headstrong, stubborn, vindictive, evil, thieving, sexually preoccupied, cross-dressing.
You're missing
jerks.
some.
Yeah, but I got more than you did. Jeez.
Barely.
At least I live it. I live by the tenets of that mullet-wearing preacher that is taken from.
Talking about Pokemon.
Oh, here, this is for you. Here we go.
Lame.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's funny, a little peek behind the curtain.
People rarely get these. It's our entire
last
podcast.
Episode was actually really great because the editing that I did was really just going into just lining up our audio tracks, going into my secondary thing where the stupid phone is connected with the soundboard and cutting out all of like the buzzing noises that happen in between them, which is really easy to just find and cut them out. And bam, it's like the first one we've had where we didn't have an error during the recording of the episode. And so it was just, I just lined them up. And I didn't have to go in and cut out. Well, I never cut out our errors. I just play some music and
it would just be a blank thing. It would just be there would be nothing.
Yeah,
there's nothing on YouTube. That's where I listen to it. It's not on here.
Oh well, no wonder. I thought you would, subscribe through a podcast app or on Spotify. That's generally what people do with podcasts.
What I
did send you a picture of me trying to just use iMovie to. I did it once and I let it go overnight and it worked, but I was surprised that it actually would take 9 hours to just match the audio file to a single static picture and make a video out of it. So I was looking at other ways of doing it and I found one and I didn't finish it. Because it just gives you a temporary file.
It looked like an acid trip.
And I fell asleep. So I haven't put it on YouTube yet. I'll just put both of these up at the same time.
Both
of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I was thinking about the fact that when I was re-listening to the last episode, how I was like, oh man, I need to put it on YouTube because I hate just listening to it and then thinking of all the things like, that's what I was trying to get at. Yeah. Oh, now I realize what I wanted to say. Oh, I have more to add to this conversation that no one's listening to. No, but I mean, I like that it's, I don't know, even just as an ego thing, but I like the way that it flows too, because that's how it flows. But, that we just do it, we just talk. But then there's times where, I mean, if I edited in all the other things that I was thinking of or the points that I was trying to get to that I think of while I'm listening to the episode myself, every episode would be 4 hours long.
No, we would just, once you get off track, we'd be like, okay, what did we just go, what were we saying? And then you would go back and you'd be like, oh, that's what I was saying.
I have more to say is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying to you.
I already said that.
But, and so YouTube is a great place to toss out some extra comments into the ether and just put them under the video. I forgot that you had mentioned that. So, somewhere to write things out because you don't use Reddit. So now you can talk to no one. And
I like how we're just
we can talk to each other.
Yeah, we're just every way for us to just talk to each other more. We just text all day. We have a podcast so we can talk to each other, and then we post it so then we can talk in comments.
Mm-hmm.
So we have friends, though, for sure.
We? You have friends. I have a child. She's my friend.
She's way cooler than me, though. So
yeah, I mean,
maybe you should be doing a podcast with her.
I didn't say otherwise. Probably should.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
She is pretty cool.
I mean, not this podcast. I wouldn't do this podcast with her.
She has higher standards.
Something more interesting, I guess.
Intellectual.
Yeah. I'd just be like, no, now we're going to talk about student loan debt forgiveness. And Sophia's just like,
oh my God.
And then at the end of every episode that Sophia does with us, she just walk away thinking,
everyone is stupid except me.
I can see her with a little smirk on her face.
or as she approaches, even as we're doing our podcast, she just walks up and she's just thinking,
what is this? Just a couple guys having a conversation? Who the hell wants to listen to that?
No.
yeah, I gotta get some more soundboard things in here, but man, it is funny. It is fun. I mean, as soon as I discovered R.M. Brown, I was like, that is the greatest idea on the face of the earth, is having a soundboard and just messing around with it while you're doing your thing. And he's, of course, the maestro.
Mm-hmm.
A rare Maestro Brown. That's what R.M. Brown
Sometimes
stands for,
when I think of
I know.
him, all that I want to say is like, that is my own sperm.
Because that's how it flows.
Yeah, he's amazing. Get him on here.
I mean, really,
hey guys, I'm R.M. Brown.
Hey, bro. Me around the podcast. But, I mean, really, our entire podcast truly is just coordinated inauthentic behavior. I think it's coordinated authentic insanity.
Oh my gosh. But you know that imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, and I told you that one time. I said that to Kelsey, and she was like, imitation is the most sincere form of flattery.
Oh my God, it's such a good joke. That's so good.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I like how
like,
your idea, you want to meet R.M. Brown, and I want to meet Hassan, and that's why we're doing this. It's like not because we have
meet
like
R.M. Brown.
Oh yeah. You want to have sex with R.M. Brown, and I want to have sex with Hassan. No.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, we're not doing it for ourselves or for, intellectual stimulation or anything.
It'd be funny. Just the weirdo leftist strange hall pass where it's just like, okay, yeah, I think, who's on my list? Chad, Pokemane, and R.M. Brown. But,
I would say Chad, but not really.
Oh,
nice.
That's
right?
brutal.
But not really.
They say
obviously.
imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yeah.
It's like, who's they?
Not
well,
really. No.
imitators.
Yeah.
That's who says that. Not the people being imitated.
Love Chad.
Yeah, she's great. Anyway.
Enough plugging other people's podcasts or whatever we're doing. Whatever the fuck they do. Really good content.
Stop! He's already dead.
I wonder if there was anything. Now I wish that what I should do is just listen to our podcast immediately before recording another one. But
or you could just write down notes when you're editing it and be like,
no,
I want to piggyback off that.
Never going to write notes about this show. Ever. Okay?
God. Yeah.
That's my promise to you, the listener, and to you, my co-host, is I will put as little effort as possible into what I am doing here. Okay?
It shows.
But actually, I'm sure that this is a jumping off point, but I just kind of rushed to get the podcast started today. It was a long day because it was the first day of school.
Oh, yeah.
For Sophia. So
let's talk about school.
Let's talk about school, baby.
Let's talk about
lots of learning. Oh, there we go.
Thank you.
Let's talk about alphabets and mathematics.
Nice.
Let's talk about school.
Improv would be so easy. We're pretty much like Wayne Brady here. I mean,
improv is easy. I just choose not to do it well.
You know what? Yeah, because my whole life is improv, isn't it? And
my life a movie.
Yeah. And I'm not doing it well.
Mm-hmm.
No, I am. Actually.
But yeah, today's first day of school. I'm so glad that, Sophia, she's very cool. She is a frail child at times. And so she was real nervous last night, and I was kind of worried about her, but she fell asleep, and I got her up this morning, and it's like, she's a great student. I'm just like, you're going to be just fine. Some of the people in this class. And of course she said she had a great first day and she really likes her teacher. So I was happy about that. I was kind of upset because we spent the entire time after the open house with her mom just like complaining about the class she was in. It's like, don't do this in front of her. You're just, we could just start a second relationship podcast called My Bitch Wife. No.
I'm all for it.
But that aside, yeah, we had a good morning and took a bunch of great first day of school pictures, and she had her new outfit.
Is she in third grade?
And yes, she is now a third grader. And her teacher's name is Mrs. Treat.
Nice.
And every time I just think, what a trait. What a trait. And I can't remember what.
I don't know what that's from.
If that's like Lady and the Tramp or what it is, but there's some old Disney movie and it's sticking in my head. Maybe it's Robin Hood. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's one of those era ones that sticks to my head of someone saying, "What a trait!" I just wish it was like actually like it was a hot teacher, and it'd be even funnier. Like,
probably
what a trait,
dog bone.
She's a real trait. Yeah, but she's just a very nice, kind school teacher.
Cool.
So hopefully she has a good year.
I think that's something, like saying that Sophia is frail. I think it's good to have an understanding about your children that, like anxiety, and some of these things that people have issues with later in life don't start later in life. You have these things early on that if they're not addressed properly by your parents or with care, with intention, that they just get worse and worse. So things like that, like it's normal. Like people have anxiety. It's really important for us to feel accepted by other people. That's why like first day of school and all that, it's really, man, it's making me like, you can remember back to how it feels to go to school and be surrounded by people who could be judging you. I mean, even all of these things subconsciously. So like, not shaming people for feeling, nervous and stuff, and just, being positive about it and helping to have a positive experience like what you're doing and not like your bitch wife is doing, like keeping on the positive side of things, because it is easy for sensitive people like Sophia, because she's your daughter, and she's my niece, and you can see that to fall into that anxiety inducing kind of thinking. So I'm glad she had a good day, because she is sweet and very sensitive, and it's really, it's nice that she has a place at your house to be very positive, and like you were a good student, I was a good student, we were good kids, our teachers liked us and stuff, because she's like smart and curious, but it can be scary at times when you're like that, and
just it's things that are new, just in general.
Totally.
I teach her from the Fleabag school. I was like, you should be like, should be like Claire, where
awesome.
she says, I take all the negative emotions, I bottle them and bury them, and they never come out. I've basically never been happier.
Yeah,
I love that line.
She's amazing.
So that's of course there's a Simpsons thing. Quote for everything, but Marge is a great episode, Marge-centric episode, Fear of Flying, and like she has such a terrible, maybe it's from Fear of Flying, but just like how she just bottles up her emotions, and so no one ever hears of it and stuff like that. Just bury it deep down so you can forget about it. And Homer says, see, kids, she knows what she's doing. She bottles it all up, and we'll never have to hear about it again. But,
yeah, so it's nice for her to be able to express that. Like, so Sophia doesn't have to bottle things like that up with you, because she knows that she's going to be heard when she does express it, and it's not going to be like, it's something that she can just feel through and like get over. And, you know, when there's a lot of negative thing and like being like dramatic responses to things, I don't think that that's very helpful. So it's really, really great that she's got you.
Really great. Yeah, that's why the teacher, I mean, is just always like,
let's go to Doug. Doug is the guy you go to around here.
but
Doug,
I mean, that's
he's the real
definitely
deal.
not what happens. Yeah, Doug he's the real deal. So I don't know. You wanted to talk about education and stuff. I mean, there's just so much still on my mind about just like the student loan forgiveness crap. But for me, it's kind of a retread of the same things I was trying to get at, just complaining about when these fucks ever started worrying about what was fair in the first place and hypocrisy. It's kind of funny. Just as a side note, before I let you speak, but how it was like the week before, well, not the week before, but the episode before, when we were talking about like what purpose like pointing out hypocrisies has, and you know, just that whole political discussion about hypocrisy, and then how awesome it was and how happy I was when like you know, people started pointing out the hypocrisy of these idiots complaining about loan forgiveness when they'd had their PPP loans forgiven. And then the fucking White House started quote tweeting people and pointing them out individually, including like Marjorie Taylor Greene, people like that, straight up tweeting from the official White House account how much in PPP loan forgiveness they'd had. And I was like, oh yeah, we just talked. It's just a basic like, no, you're a hypocrite. Fuck off. You know, and how kind of cool and mobilizing and effective it was, I think, where everyone, at least in my progressive bubble of online content, everyone's like, this is good. Please keep doing this. Attack these fucks.
That's
it's
why.
Not going to change any of their minds. You're not going to change any of their minds. Let's keep like foaming at the mouth here. Like Biden's approval rating finally kind of went up for the first time in a while.
Exactly. And a couple podcasts ago, you were saying, what's the point in pointing out hypocrisy? And this moment right now is why. Because it does get people being like, oh my God, like it is so clear. And it's mobilizing. It can get people actually feeling something. Yeah.
It's just a reaffirmation that it's like, that's right. God damn it, that's right. I am on the right side. Yes. You know what? I can be a little more confident in my own feelings, because a lot of these people on the other side can be confident I forget what I was going to say, but can be as confident as humanly possible purely out of ignorance of the other side, truly. Like, of course, they're confident in their position because they don't give a fuck. They're idiots.
A blowhard? Isn't that what that is? Like an arrogant person who has a bunch of confidence that's totally, like, unearned? Like a blowhard. That's Donald Trump, right? That's like those
Donald
people.
Trump's a blow soft. He's like he's a
that's
dough
what Stormy
hard.
Daniels said. He's a dough-tard.
Dough-tard. Hey, that's actually that's one of the few things I learned from reading Trump's Twitter. Was that word. But yeah, that's true. It is kind of, it's like, but now it's like, okay, let's go from here. I'm already feeling like they're missing the mark with not now. It's like these cycles go so quick, right? It's been after 48 hours of us like cheering on about how life-changing this is for some people and how the fucking government helped out working class Americans for once in our goddamn lives.
Of people.
It's like, okay, that dies down. Now focus on all the other stuff that you did in this bill, because there's fantastic stuff in there. Like, so keep doing it. Like, put your foot down.
Yeah. Like use
show
this progress,
what
like
good
this momentum.
You did.
Yeah. And
Like,
I guess
just
it's
keep at it.
Please keep at it, because that's what the people want. Like, and yeah, whatever. My point.
It's like,
oh, what?
No, you go. You go.
Oh.
I talk too much.
No, you don't. We both
on the
talk too
podcast.
much. No, I mean
I get to edit these. I see how much I talk versus you.
It's okay.
It's like 75-25, pretty much.
Well, yeah, Kelsey would be like, wow, what a nice change of pace that would be.
She's like, at least there's someone on this planet that can
like,
make you shut up.
25%? Wow. You get that much? Yeah, no.
She's like, even sleep can't get you to shut up.
Yeah, she wakes up to a bunch of texts from me. And no.
No, I mean, when you're sleeping, you keep talking. I don't know how to... It's not even that funny. Anyway, go.
We don't sleep in the same bed, so
yeah,
she wouldn't hear me.
I'm not saying you do.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Off the rails.
So anyway, dotard.
Yeah, what I was thinking about was Bill Maher. And how much I really dislike him. And it started a while ago. I used to, I liked his kind of like assholeness. 10 years ago or whatever.
I liked it, 10 years ago when he was like a liberal.
Yeah, because relative to the times, it's like, sure, he's super progressive in like 1994, whatever. Yeah. But listening to him now, I really want to tell him, Bill, like the reason that you have these values, like that you think you have, these liberal values that you think are like the right way to look at things, like what you've built your career on being this person who's blah, 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 whatever, is because you fucking went to college. Like, the ability for you to think the way that you do, what you were exposed to, is because you went to college, not because a degree makes you better than anyone or smarter or anything. It just gives you way more education. It gives you way more knowledge than you got in high school.
Opportunity in general.
Yeah, the opportunity to think thoughts that you wouldn't think otherwise because your foundation is way, way bigger. Like, and so what he's saying now is that nobody deserves to have the same level of education that he already got 30 years ago, that our society doesn't need to progress. Like, that a high school education is good enough, even though a high school education doesn't even get people to what he has 30 fucking years ago.
High school education is what he fucking complains about in his boomer talks every week. He complains about people because he feels like they're low educated, ignorant people. That's like his shtick, is complaining about uninformed millennials and Zoomers, who he just calls all of them millennials anyway, that he thinks don't know anything about life and aren't smart enough. It's like, what do you want us to do, Bill? It's like, oh yeah, that's right. You don't fucking care, you rich snob.
Exactly. He is so incredibly insufferable to me now. It's like, you don't know, like Hassan was talking about that. It's like, you don't know anybody that has student loans because you're too old. So, you could have paid off, you could have paid for school, or you're just around rich fucking people. This is millions of people all, like, it actually is affecting people's lives. And he's like, plumbers don't want to pay for this, and blah, 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 blah. But also, in all of that, it's like, whatever, stupid bullshit about people deserving pay, that we could get into that. But it's also like, what kind of future do you want, Bill? Like, what do you want? All these advancements and stuff, and you think all these dark ages, and you think you're so progressive and enlightened. You know what that fucking comes from? It comes from an education. And that, I mean, it doesn't have to be a formal education, but it's sure fucking hard to get a good education when you work 8 or 12 hours a day and you try to raise your family, and you only have so many hours, and how all this information, and where could you even start? How are you possibly supposed to do that with just working a job? Like, what he wants in a society is not possible without the society collectively having more knowledge just as a baseline. Like, he's just so... He's just
People just
the
don't wanna
epitome of,
admit-
like, out of fucking touch white guy. I
Yeah.
fucking hate Bill Maher. Like,
He's
I
just
hate what
like-
he's become.
He's just the same endpoint that like Joe Rogan is. It's
Exactly.
Like, I mean, it's just
Because they
money and
because they're
getting
fucking
into a little
arrogant
bubble.
and they think that they know best. They think that what they know is like the right way to be, even though every fucking day there's new things to learn. There's always progress to be made. There's always something new to learn. And they think that that's it. Like the way that they think is the right way to think. And they're not changing their mind. You can tell Bill Maher is not changing his mind because it's like the same as he did 30 years,
Well, and
whatever,
that's the thing.
whatever, but
Because
time
20
has
years
progressed.
ago,
yeah.
and 20 years ago he was so liberal because it's
Prior
like,
to the
oh,
Me
I'm
Too
an
movement,
atheist.
prior to all these things. Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm an atheist who likes pot. It's like, yeah, Bill, it's 2022.
Everyone
we
is.
all are
Yeah.
now. Yeah. Like, so what are your actual values instead
It's
of
like,
just
oh,
these
you
two
actually
planks
are a
that made you
misogynist, and you actually
popular?
are a racist or whatever, or a class, whatever. It's like, yeah, society has progressed, but you stopped. Because
It's like,
you think
would
that
Bill
you know-
Maher now, like now, the current incarnation, would he say that America deserved 9/11? No. He did back in like 2001 or whenever that was. Like he like got canceled, like was literally someone who got canceled for having like edgy public views and stuff. And now he's just so cloistered.
It's so
and, like,
weird, too, when
has
he's talking
not-
about plumbers. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Bill Maher? You're a millionaire who surrounds yourself with millionaires.
Yeah.
When was the last fucking time you literally ever thought about a plumber?
Oh, this last
Like,
week, he was saying he's like talking to all of his nurse friends and stuff. It's like, bitch, you're fucking lying.
And he's
What
talking about what
nurses are you talking to?
he's anti-education,
You're
talking
just
to
lying.
nurse friends. Like, you don't want nurses? Like, you think that there's not going to be people needing to go to college with all these medical advancements we probably want to be making as a species and like as a blah, 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 blah? Like, what is your point here? Why are you so anti-college when you have a motherfucking college degree? Like, when you, like, who you are and the basis for a lot of, not your opinions came from college professors, but your, like, that you were exposed to different ways of thinking and opened your mind to different things. That's because you went to college.
It's
bitch.
like, and Bill,
Like-
you know, all these cool views that you had that were based then or are still good now that society's just moved on past you, but like all of these cool views that made you such a liberal, you know, it's like, you didn't come up with that. Other people felt that way and were that liberal before you were. And you know where they were? They were in colleges, okay? Like, because that's, like, places where people gather to think and become
learn.
educated is where we move forward, whether you like the outcome of it or not. You know, I mean, whether you agree with it or not. It's like...
And I'm not saying that people who don't go to college
do you just want us
can't be
to
like
stop
that.
here and just say, well, we've learned everything we need? Like, no.
It's
like,
a
that's
place
the
for
dumbass take.
intentional learning. And I'm people can learn. Of course, you don't have to go to college to be an open-minded,
we don't
educated
have
person and all that kind of stuff.
salons.
But yeah, you don't have the ability to sit down for hours and contemplate all these philosophies and blah, blah, blah. People have to reinvent the wheel constantly because they don't have, like, they have to start with this because they don't have the foundation that's already there. It's there. All this knowledge is there to be had, and all of these unique perspectives that could be adding to it, but they just don't know about it. And school is the way. Sorry that you have to have a degree, but you know what problem that is, Bill? What the problem for that? That's all because of fucking capitalism and needing to have a degree to get a job, to blah, 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 to prove something, whatever, whatever. It's like the learning is never a bad thing. Why do you want people to keep being plumbers when maybe like 100 years from now, we'll have a different way of plumbing? We don't always need to be doing pipes and electrical the same way. If you want to... We don't live in ancient Egypt anymore because people are going to be be keeping advancing, especially in talking and speaking.
Yes.
Like, there's always a foundation. Like, you can keep building on it. Maybe there's people who will be like, I can dissolve poop and shoot it into the universe, and now we don't have to fill up our blah, blah, blah. You know, there's all kinds of cool science fiction ideas that you can think about, but instead you want people to just be going to school to become a plumber, so then when it becomes obsolete, they don't have jobs, and they're like the coal miners in West Virginia who are poor and addicted to drugs. Yeah, good plan, Bill Maher. You're really looking out for the little guy there. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know, it's funny you're talking about, like, you know, we don't just have this time to just sit and think, you know, and it's like, because capitalism puts you in that position, right? But also, it's funny, it's like, yeah, that's a big difference, a complete reversal of how time is spent, and how education and learning and the advancement of knowledge works in our modern American capitalist society versus the times of these Stoic philosophers or whoever you want to talk about. It's like, because, yeah, then it was like, well, I was just thinking, now it's like, yeah, everyone's working. No one has the time to just sit and think and philosophize, or however you want to put it, except for the wealthy. And you get wealthy in order to have the time to not do anything. That's yeah, it's like for the exact
they become
opposite.
Vapid instead of like
here we say, no, if you want to have time to just sit around and advance knowledge and talk to people, you have to take out $100,000 loan. It's like, and work it off for the rest of your fucking life. Well,
we'll give the caveat actually too that philosophy has been dominated by rich white men, the realm of philosophy, because they were the only people who could sit around. But it was a legitimate profession and stuff. And once there have been
having the privilege to sit there and do
totally a privilege to do that. But it has like those philosophies have been like the foundations of societies and like the way that we like think about ethics and like advance like social evolution, because people were able to sit and think, especially once you were able to add like women and people of color into like modern or like mainstream philosophy, like which is like now kind of like
kind of what I was thinking is like you think of it now. Okay, yeah. So
and now the only people who are sitting around with the time to do it are rich white people who are not thinking about ethics. They're thinking about money.
Yeah. So in order to get to the position of privilege, wherein you have the time to do that, right? You have to accumulate a certain amount of wealth. And with how you get to that amount of wealth to be able to have the privilege, you likely won't stop there. Where it's just like,
you have
look
to
at
be
Jordan Peterson or something
to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like someone can get to that position if there's someone like Jordan Peterson, where if you hadn't been so corrupted in order to get to that position, then you wouldn't have taken the path that like Jordan Peterson did. Maybe he would actually be having philosophical discussions and stuff. It's like, and instead of just straight up, you get to that position of privilege, you're the type of person who's going to want more wealth and privilege, because it's an unending cycle of want for personal expansion, because that's how the entire system is built. I think ever expanding wealth. You look at the one guy who cumstered and dumpstered Jordan Peterson in philosophical debate, Slavoj Žižek, and he lives in a fucking greasy little apartment full of books, you know?
Nerd.
And he looks like a raccoon that eats out of the dumpster, and everyone loves him for it. But
yeah, because he sticks to his values. I think that
because he just, that's the only way that you can be. It's like, yeah, because he's a fucking world-renowned professor,
because he wants to travel around and talk about that stuff instead of. But
it's like, yeah, he's at a point.
Suits and like
he has the means to be a modern thinker, and the only way that you're going to not be the type of modern thinker that is corrupted into using that as a platform to gain more wealth, all ethics get cast aside. That's just how so many other people, that's where they end up. Where now, whether they're professors that are now just oil industry
They
lobbyists
become
like
the
Jordan
very
Peterson
thing they
or
set out to
podcasters.
destroy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't know. It's you're doomed to fail. Like everything is against you in terms of trying to turn you to the dark side. You know, like
It's a
you're
strong pull.
going. Even Stavros had a funny, just like crowd work joke about that, where he's like picking out a guy in the crowd, Stavros Halkias, and just asking, "What do you do?" and stuff. And the guy, he worked as a law clerk for a judge and stuff. And he's like, well, oh yeah. And he asked him though, when he said he was like a law clerk, he's like, what are you good guys or the bad guys, defense or the prosecution? He's like, no, I work for the judge. We try to see it, I have to, be objective. We have to be objective. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I just want to try to make the world a better place. Like he added in something like that. And Stavros just laughed at him. He's like, yep, I'm sure. I'm so sure. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, but you have to get to a point where it's like, well, we'll just build a couple more for-profit prisons and then we'll have the money so we can build that community center. And it's like, that's what you have to do. You have to be corrupted to even get to the point of having the means to do something good.
That was like an article that came out about like to affect change, you have to have like millions of dollars. Like you have to play within the system. I mean, and then it's like, but I was on acid one time and it was like,
will corrupt you.
It seriously was like I could feel it when I was on acid. It was scary to feel the cycle just repeating. It was like, how do we get out of this? And it's like, and you make money not the top priority. You find another priority, and then eventually, maybe no money, but
to pay your medical bills and leave something for your family, you have to start manufacturing methamphetamine. It's already a story, it's Walter White.
Yeah.
And of course,
and it definitely doesn't become about your ego.
He gets a first $100,000,
but you know
where
what?
Does it go from there?
He never had to do that. He could have just accepted the help of a friend who was saying, please let me help you, and he didn't do it. So
because
he didn't have
capitalism.
To do that. They were like, we'll just pay for it, of course.
Search for ever expanding wealth.
Yeah,
notoriety. You only live on this planet once, and this is the system you live in. No, it's not just because of I'm like joking, but also I think that like building the entire foundation of how we live our lives on the insane notion that everything must always be making more profit, be getting better. Every single thing, it's like progress, even for worse. Everything has to get bigger. It always boils down to these molecular levels and on the individual to like, you can't just stop with, it's never
ending.
No. Oh my gosh. I already
satisfied.
Lost my train of thought. Yeah, it's like it's never society is not motivating you to reach a point and just quit while you're ahead. Like it's
Quit that's good.
Yeah, capitalism is a constant just cycle of the casino expanding its vaults and everyone thinking that they can get a little bit more and never quitting while you're ahead and walking away from the table. Like that's not what
I hate to gamble.
society wants you to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, if you already have a house and some money set aside, no, you should. I mean, you have that. Why not get a bigger one? Why not have something saved for your children and for their children? Why not have something so you can affect change and mold society in the way you see fit around you in your neighborhood, or maybe even more?
What's really about
there's
that
never
is
an end to it because you have to have money for all that.
There is an end to it, but it's collectively like getting rid of our egos about it. Like that we think that we know best and like that we are the one person. Nah, I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, if you create your entire economy around what's best for society is following the selfish wants of individuals, and that's morality and markets, is selfishness and greed
I
when
think
we've
that-
warped the idea of the invisible hand of the market being everyone gets as much as they can in every transaction possible is the best thing for society. That's where it leads.
Yeah, that's capitalism. We live in
that's what I'm
it's
complaining
like
about.
an economy, not a society, because you're right. Then that's what an economy exists for. The only
Facts.
thing an economy exists
that's
for
good.
is to grow. Like, it's never stagnant economy. That's like, look at the word we use for it. It's like a pond with muck and slime and disgusting, like, burbling, like ball burbling.
Ball burbling muck, algae growing filth.
Yeah, that's just dank and like like no growth. It's just death and decay. Like that's what we like, an economy that's not moving anywhere. That's just like like staying. That's how we refer to it. It's all about growth, and that's the thing about capitalism exactly, that it doesn't. Like, it's just about growth, so it's about, like, getting to our instincts that are easy to get to, like marketing and how human instincts, how we have so many things, like, and capitalism really, like consumerism, materialism, and how it fills the world with a bunch of crap, while instead, all that energy and stuff could have been, at least not all of it taken away. We like clothes, and we like art, and we like decorations, and we can appreciate beauty and stuff like that, but so much more of like our mental power and resources could go to science and technology, education, healthcare, environmentalism, and we wouldn't have just so much stuff and the need for so many fucking kinds of Oreos to satisfy exactly my specific individual craving on literally every single thing I could possibly buy, every car, every kind of clothing. It's all about satisfying my totally every individual desire at the expense of society. There can be a balance. Not everyone has to wear Star Trek suits and have the same kind of house. You know, it doesn't have to be one or the other. Like, we can have, people will always be individuals, but it would be nice if we had the ability to choose what kind of individual we wanted to be. These people are like drones for their whole life, like ants working for Amazon or whatever. That's not choice just because you get to drive and you don't even get to drive whatever car you want because you don't have enough money to drive the car you fucking want. That's another thing I was thinking about. Why can't everyone drive a Land Rover? Like, that technology exists for stuff to be so fucking nice for people, so incredibly comfortable and safe and advanced, and all this technology. It's like, and it was just meant to make money.
We have
That's
the productive
the point of
capability.
Yeah.
To just
like,
all be driving Teslas.
And these people, teachers and people working a couple jobs and all this kind of stuff, scraping hard and driving this shitty car, and then like fucking Paris Hilton getting to drive whatever. I mean, it's just also, it just doesn't make any sense from any sort of logical point about deserving, that's for sure, about who deserves what. Like, you couldn't point out to all these rich fucks that it's like, yeah, they really deserve that because their parents had it or whatever, and people who are not good with money, whatever.
Well,
deserving,
that's just,
am I right? Capitalism makes everyone not deserving. You're not deserving of anything, you have to earn it.
No one deserves anything. I mean, and that's why, a value of a commodity is purely just what people will pay for it. I mean, it's just motivates just an entire structure of every transaction is someone's winning, and someone's losing. Supposedly
winning.
It's, I mean, any anarcho-capitalist or, dumb fuck Econ 101 person will just be about like, well, it's all about both sides win and stuff like that. It's like, then we don't need money and financial instruments for all of that crap. It's like if it was, I don't know, if it just means if you want to go by markets helping solve everything, then we just wouldn't be in the position we're in, right? It's like there wouldn't be more empty houses than homeless people.
If it worked, it would work.
There wouldn't be more food thrown away than what we need to feed all the starving people in our country. Like,
in the world.
All of that stuff. Like, obviously there are just things that markets cannot accomplish. and for a variety of reasons, whether through the powers of monopolies and things like that. But it's just like,
I think
it's
because
just not working. Like, why don't we want to move forward? Like, with helping people.
Yeah, they won't work because it's not
they don't
designed
deserve
to.
it. And they say you don't deserve it because you don't have it. And you don't have it because you don't deserve it.
Then you don't deserve it because yeah. I mean, because markets aren't a thing that care about people. It's like all of that stuff isn't about people. It's about money. So there are no, like we always come back to that. There are no ethics or morals, capitalism and money. It's just have or don't. And it's pretty simple. And what we attribute to that is that if you have it, you deserve it. And if you don't, you deserve to not have it.
Yeah.
So,
well,
and that's pretty nuanced view there, huh?
And should we defeat every enemy, should we double our wealth and conquer the stars and still be unequal, then we will have failed as a people and as a nation. For with a country, as with a person, what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
Ooh,
like,
facts.
I'm such
Fire.
I'm such a fucking nerd, but it's like I listened to LBJ's March 15th, 1965 speech to the Congress before the signing of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And it's like, I mean, there's these basic, even just as a liberal, like, man, for one thing, and I sent it to you earlier, and I was like, it's the greatest Democratic president ever. Like, I think, like...
And I was like, Barack Obama?
Yeah. It's like, well, as people could say FDR or something.
No.
It's like, no, LBJ was the fucking
Teddy
man.
Roosevelt?
He was a Republican.
Was he?
But
at that time?
Yeah, because they were super progressive. He was a trust buster. He was a Republican.
I guess it's a different sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But, like, just, I mean, the legacy of the Vietnam War completely tarnished what LBJ did, I think. But it's like, if you set that aside, it's like, man, I wish the Democrats had someone like him. I've said that for like a few years. I've said that pretty much since Hillary Clinton got the nomination. I was like,
Big Dick Johnson. That's what they call him.
Lyndon B. Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you know what? There's all the funny stuff about how he did have a big dick, and he joked about it all the time. You know, they'd be out on the boat. And
that big dick energy.
And he'd be like, let me see I'll tell you how cold the water is. Let me take a leak over the side. But but it's like, yeah, no, it wasn't just that. But he had like that energy. Like he was a tough guy, but who had like heart. He's
the anti-Trump.
Yeah, really based in like some values that he would speak about at length multiple times. That it feels like you'd actually try to base his liberal ideals and legislation on. And it's like, man, if we could have
what
something
a
like
novel
that
idea.
stupid thought that I had today, I was like, oh, that'd be just a funny poetry of history. It's like, man, the greatest Democrat presidents, it's like, well, you had FDR, and then LBJ, and it's like, oh, we need to have one of those three letter type of people. So who's going to be the next one? AOC.
Nice.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait a few years, but who knows? It's like, that's what you need. I mean,
I was thinking DCM.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing
DC
they could come up with
metaverse.
On you, I bet.
Yeah, exactly. I just go up I just say it all up front and be like, take it or leave it, boys.
Yeah, and they're like,
it's like, yeah, well, we'll leave it, you cocaine-addled freak. But, just listening to like his stuff about the reasons, like not just about voting rights then, which still echo today, crazily enough, because it's like his whole thing in that
Because
in
time is a flat circle.
1965 was just, we've already passed, like, they'd already, given African Americans the right to vote, but all of these local rules and putting things in the hands of these, like, individual Southern people, just pretty much denying people the right to vote because they were black by doing the, like, poll taxes and tests and all this crap. It's just upfront.
Have you seen some of those literacy tests that you would have to take?
Oh,
to get...
yeah.
Oh, my God.
Crazy.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and he even says, he's like,
I swear I
what
can read.
good is that when you've made sure that they can't even read first? And it's like, and then, when this happened, when it was in Selma, and even that white minister was beat to death by the police, and he had this speech afterwards. But Martin Luther King had written, then he says, I'm here in jail, and there are more. I don't like to. There's just, if you go back and read all the stuff from the '60s, they just always use the word Negro.
Yeah, I knew that's what you were.
Like,
that's what you were hesitating about.
There are more black people in
Brothers.
jail with me right now than there are on the voting rolls that are registered to vote here in Selma right now. But it's like, so his whole thing was, this is what's up, okay? He laid it out in this speech written by himself, and it's just a great speech. He knows how to write legislation. He was the only, at that point, president ever. He'd held every federal elected office. He was a
In
U.S.
every
representative.
in every county.
And even before Hawaii became a state, he was a senator from Hawaii. He's Barack Obama's father. But
that's right.
But it's like, so he had the legislation saying, this is it, and it's going to be federal law, and that's that. There is no way in any election, federal or state or local, that you're going to deny people the right to vote, because every citizen has the right to vote. Because without that, you are just denying America at its core. I sent you that thing. Yeah, dishonoring the people who died for our freedoms, straight up. And
the foundation of our nation, the moral foundation of America is that it's governed by the people, that we get a say in who is ruling us in the way that it's not supposed to be a
electing
ruling class.
our leaders. Yeah, exactly. You could say, well, we're not a direct democracy. It's like, yeah, but we're supposed to have a say in who our leaders are.
It's supposed to be representative of our beliefs as a society. They're supposed to represent us. That's the whole point, of America, is that you get a say in what's going on in your life, because that's why you don't just go around shooting and killing people. And there's this contract you have. That's the social contract. You give up certain rights, but you also get these rights, in order to live in a society. And America was very, very, very clear about it not turning into a monarchy, where people are just making decisions regardless. It's supposed to be, well, they didn't really mean everybody, but we can now extend that to every person. They really mean every human being has an inalienable right, because they were born, that they deserve a voice. Because they were born. And they didn't they didn't choose that, that's just what it is.
Yeah, exactly. You're an American citizen. You didn't be chose to be born in this country. Okay,
is that
you're
LBJ?
Chose. Yeah, he wrote that in 1965.
But speaking of, to circle back to
Not good.
the thing that I think about,
circling
is,
back, the entire point of this is Bill Maher, he sucks.
Suck my dick, idiot.
Yeah, exactly. You poopy bitch.
Is Douglas Adams' says something like that the people who want to be in power are the least suited for it because they want to have control over other people. Like he has this whole funny thing about the president of the galaxy and, you know, and it's funny. The president is just a distraction because, of course, he's not really...
I was thinking of exactly that when I was talking about the type of person who, gets into the position to have the privilege to do that is, the type of, then you're already at the point where you shouldn't be the one doing the thinking.
Douglas Adams says, one of the major problems, for there are several, one of the many major problems with governing people is that of whom you get to do it, or rather of who manages to get people to let them do it to them. To summarize, it is a well-known fact that those who must want to rule people are, ipso facto, those least suited to it. To summarize the summary, anyone who is capable of getting themselves made president should on no account be allowed to do the job.
And that's why Zaphod Beeblebrox is president of the galaxy.
He's the perfect president,
yeah.
Oh my god! Or oh god.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh god.
Like Douglas, that's what Douglas Adams wrote.
Don't quote me on that, though.
That's probably what it sounded like.
That's Douglas Adams Halkias for you. Douglas
Don't
Adams.
quote me on that.
Douglas Adams, what is that, Greek? He's like, I'm from Baltimore. Well, it's already been an hour.
You've wasted another perfectly good hour with us, the Click and Clack Tappert brothers. Oh, wait, no, sorry.
And just remember, don't drive like my sister.
That's really fucking rude, Doug.
My neighbors could probably hear that.
Sicilian when death is on the line.
Yeah, that's the guy. He's one of the... Is he Tom or Ray? No.
Oh, that's what you're doing.
Wallace. Yeah.
Wallace Shawn.
I was not doing Wallace Shawn. But...
Yeah, I see that now.
Yeah.
I think it's Ray.
He's Wallace Shawn.
Yeah.
AKA BoJack Horseman.
Yeah. Exactly. Everyone's going to know. This is so, like, not niche comedy that we're doing right
Esoteric.
Now, too. Yeah. It's like, it just speaks to
because I totally know what that word means.
Yeah. On that note, verisimilitudinous.
It's like really esoteric.
Posthumously, though.
Yeah. It's
all right, nerd.
Postmodern. It's esoteric. It's like a soggy type of eroticism.
Isn't it all?
Yeah. And that's why
everyone is stupid except me.
It's just so great. I love Homer so much.
Yeah. He's so smart.
We need more families like, what was it? What was that stupid brain dead CIA rotted idiot said? More families like the Waltons and less families like the Simpsons. What an idiot.
What a moron.
You know who
ever
said
heard of
that? Plato?
Socrates?
George H.W. Bush.
Don't quote me on that, though.
I would love to just get on Bill Maher's show.
Me too. I was thinking that too. I just wanted to be like, dude, you're so fucking stupid. I'm so much smarter than you. That's so embarrassing for you.
Just poke him in the forehead and be like,
you little poopy bitch.
It's seriously so embarrassing that he gets to make a bunch of money. He's like sitting there being like, what about people with real jobs? And he's sitting there at a desk talking to millionaires. Shut up. Oh my God.
He's like, oh, people with real jobs are going to be so upset. Dude, you're on HBO having a conversation with Rob Reiner right now. Mm-hmm. Rob Reiner, who called you out for this exact conversation during that, saying, well, you have a college degree, right? Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah. He's like, and Bill Maher's like, of course I do. And it's like, yeah, exactly.
Of course you do, you fucking retard. Like,
God,
it's not even embarrassing his
bitch.
takes. It's embarrassing, like that it's like, God, I used to watch your show. What the fuck was wrong with me?
But that was 10 years ago.
Like, and even then, it was like, oh God, some of this is kind of corny, but I liked a lot of it.
I always found him really arrogant, but I liked some of his takes.
Was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's even funnier his reactions when people wouldn't laugh and stuff. It used to be funny, but now he literally is actually like butthurt and whines. He's like,
yeah.
You guys are
He's a snowflake.
Too PC for that one, huh? Like, dude, you have the crowd with the most like sheeple like audience out of anyone with a talk show.
It's embarrassing.
Like, it's worse than The View times Colbert. Like,
and he sits there, and
like,
at least
they
Stephen
are
Colbert
fucking
has like
trained
energy.
seals.
Like Stephen Colbert is like a fun, energetic, like actual legitimate like improv comedian person who has built a career from like Colbert Nation and being like this fun like he's you can see why people would be
one of the
obsessed with him.
greatest daily talk shows of all time in the Colbert
he's
Report.
Amazing. And then there's Bill Maher, who he seriously just sits back and waits after these lame boomer-ass jokes.
And they will clap because that's what you do when you're in his audience.
So disgusting. It's like I get cringe like secondhand from just
it sucks because he is an example that proves that point that we don't like to talk about, where he's one of the few people where it's like, wow, yeah, like looking at you can say that we've been moving left. It's like, for so much, like, because the Democrats moving left and all this stuff, it's like, no, like, right wing is becoming more extreme, and it's like more people are shifting to the right. But you can look at someone like Bill Maher and just be like, oh yeah, you hit your fucking midlife crisis, stuck with like your two liberal principles, where it's like, I vote Democrats and I smoke weed. And that's the only thing. And everything, it's not even that we moved left past you, just the world moved on, dude. And that's like the definition of conservatism, is that you're going to sit there and not change. Like,
and
you don't want to move
what do we say?
World.
Yeah, that's why conservatism is stupid
and doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. And on that note, unrecord. No.
Yeah, delete this episode.
Unrecord.
This was too good to put out there.
Yeah, it's gonna blow some minds.
Yeah,
people after us. Yeah.
Okay, Natalie.
Thanks.
It's like, gee whiz, Bill. I wonder. It's like, it's not a badge of honor or a point of pride now to be like, well, look at how many conservatives watch me or agree with me. It's like, dude, like, even on YouTube, your comments are just filled with like, I'm conservative, but I still think he has good takes. It's like, you know why that's under every single fucking Bill Maher video? It's because Bill Maher's a fucking conservative.
Exactly.
I'm gonna shit my pants. I gotta get going, actually.
Okay.
It's been over an hour.
It's too stressful talking about Bill. It makes you want to take
inside out. Actually,
take
no.
A Maher.
I just should have taken a shit before I started. But anyway, just so everyone knows, I've been very regular. No.
Yeah.
I made some. Oh man, I can't believe how well my pork chops turned out today. Rushing home from work,
seems like you're a good cook.
throwing on the grill, no marinade or nothing. Just threw on
raw
some
pork.
Quick. Yeah, just raw pork. It's really chewy, but it's
and
not
I think
dry.
I really have to shit now.
Yeah, I have to shit out of every orifice. No, but it was perfect, man. A hot grill, a little bit of sesame oil, so that it holds the garlic, salt, and some seasonings on it. And it was like 15, 20 minutes. Ooh, it was good. It wasn't dry or nothing.
That sounds really good. I had tofu. It was really good.
It was nice and pink and slimy in the middle.
Yeah, slippery.
No, it was cooked all the way through. It's like every time I surprise myself every time. I'm like, Why do people have such a problem cooking pork? This shit's good.
I feel like you're a good cook.
Nah, it's
So-
just a good griller. Everything else, as soon as I'm in the
cooking.
kitchen and doing more than one thing at once, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I have to make a bagged Caesar salad with this too. But
Yeah, those are tricky.
and everyone's like, no, this is good.
Enough.
I'm like, there's like half of what I was going to make is still sitting unopened on the counter. I'm like, well, this is what's for dinner. No, but if it's on the grill, then I got it. I'm good to go.
You're a grill master. Bader.
Yeah, and I do propane and propane accessories. That's how I grill. Anyway, I hope that this has been recording because it passed my ending marker on GarageBand. So
About 20 minutes in, yeah.
much less than 20 minutes in. So
It's actually
hopefully
much
that's good to
fewer
go.
than 20 minutes in, so...
much less. That's right.
No.
How could you be more much less?
More muchless. More much
Yeah.
less.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
bye. Toot toot.
I'm just gonna do that every time.
Yeah.
Okay, I love you. Shout out
Okay,
to
I love you
R.M.
too.
Brown, Lord and
Of
Savior.
course, Lord and Savior.
And we're gonna do a live podcast together
Live podcast.
this weekend.
Together on Saturday or Sunday or
I
something.
don't know. We'll fucking figure it out. I'm gonna bring over some equipment.
Okay.
So I'll have some nice microphones, some Kike-Ramon. Ooh, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna beat that out.
Yep. Gotta be careful on some of these.
Fike-Ramones. There we go. Fike-Ramones.
Like, if you say stuff that's like a big, and then any word that starts with an N, you can't do it next if you want to do that kind of stuff. So that's the little words of wisdom.
A big what?
Like a big nest. Try to do that.
A big nest?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
Blank. Best. If you swap the letters.
If you're swapping the letters, I was like, what are you talking about?
I'm like,
I'm just
what
gonna
are you
start.
trying to, like, trap
I'm just gonna
me?
start putting random beep noises in words you're saying, so it sounds like you're doing a bunch
Yeah.
of slurs.
That's
Like,
what, because I'm like, are you trying
Jesus,
to
Natalie.
get me on this? Because if you're just doing it quickly and you know, like do that in my head a lot, and then I'm like,
because
well,
of how
gotta be
often
careful.
you swap
All
the
the
first
time.
letters. Oh yeah,
All the time. A botter waddle, you know, like a water bottle.
waddle. Yeah,
Mhm.
botter
Constant.
waddle.
It's just
a big nest. Yeah.
Mhm, yeah.
Okay, I
yeah.
see. We're reaching Adam Friedland show levels here that we don't need to get to. So
That's what I'm warning you about.
that's
that.
for-
But you got to
that's
be
for
careful
those
if you
tightrope
really lean
walkers
into
over
this.
there.
Yeah,
at Successful Podcast,
it's a lifestyle choice, so you got to be ready.
just
you know.
like being gay.
Exactly. That's what Matt Walsh says.
Yes, exactly, because he is a
Our
trans
Lord
man.
and Savior.
Yeah, because he's very smart and he knows what a woman is.
He sure does. He
That's why
doesn't
he
ever have to ask.
So he spent $1 million and countless hours asking people what a woman is. Okay, let's talk about that this weekend.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go do some research on trans women. Okay.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
All right. Shout out
Okay.
R.M. Brown. Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.